I mean, I was at the point of thinking about getting it, but also tattooed on my wrist underneath my other fancy tattoo because I'm like, I have said that so much in the past 2 months. I'm gonna steal Celeste's thing, but
Because
also
it is, right? Wait,
it
what
is. It's such a. It's definitely been the year of, but also.
yes. I love it. Welcome to the But Also Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Celeste Vaughn. Let me start with a warning that this is an adult only podcast. There will be profanity and indecent conversations. I would apologize, but I'm not really sorry. Today, we are lucky enough to be joined by Lenny and Allie's mom, Jenna Gould. Say hi, Jenna.
Hey, everybody.
So, first off, most important thing, please tell everybody about Lenny and Allie.
Oh, they're right here wagging their tails and trying to join the conversation. So that's Lenny. Lenny is a 4-year-old Coton de Tuliar. He's a 10-pound fluff ball. I usually tell people he's a mutt or a cotton or really anything other than saying Coton de Tuliar because that sounds super bougie, but he is bougie. He's awesome. He's the coolest little dude on the planet,
Bushy dogs are the best. Thank you.
right?
One of my
He
parents has an ophthalmologist and a dentist, so we don't judge bougie dogs.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So there's Mr. Lenny. He's currently he's black and white, and for because of the podcast, I feel like I need to describe him. And then he currently is wearing his tie-dye bow tie for,
Oh.
all the festiveness. And then Allie, short for Althea, she was a rescue, was a rescue, from a hoarding case. She just joined our family back in November. She's 6 pounds, and rules the world with every single ounce of that 6 pounds. And yeah, she came from a hoarding situation in Alabama and was picked up by a rescue down in the Metro Atlanta area. And I saw her scrappy little face on the internet and sent an email and drove down to Atlanta the next Saturday and picked her up in a parking lot. And she has completed our little family, and she and Lenny are best of friends, and it is complete chaos, and I love every second of it.
I am with you with that. My last few races are stupid shit I'm doing, and I get the pictures of them. Oh, it's
And I'm like,
everything.
I sent Michael Lopresti a video where Lenny was barking at something, and I was like, probably put those on mute unless it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you want to scare somebody, then you could turn the volume up really loud.
Now that's something I would do, like hide in the woods and like. One year, Anchor Down was on Friday the 13th,
Ooh,
and I literally all night had the theme song playing from Friday the
I
13th,
love that. Oh my
like
goodness.
running through the woods. And a lot of the people at Anchor Down, not a lot, but there's a significant number that like that's their introduction kind of to trail running at night. So it makes it
Okay.
even more diabolical.
They're going to be horrified and never do it again. Or they'll be like, that was amazing. Why isn't there some lady scaring me in the woods in the middle of the night the next time?
Well, exact, and then I know those are my people, right?
This is true. They'll come find you and be like, where were you? Why wasn't this a haunted walk the next time?
Yes, there's a tree. We always call it Satan tree at Notchview because it kind of looks like it has horns. And I'm like, in the middle of the night, I want to hide behind it and like crawl out of it, like with my hair in front, like the girl from The
Oh,
Ring. I'm like,
please do. Yes.
wouldn't that be epic, like in the middle of the night to do some kind of shit like
Definitely.
that?
Yes. 100% yes.
All right. I'm glad you support my bad life choices.
Always.
Anyway, all right, let's make this about you.
Oh boy.
You're our guest. So tell us about you. Like, first of all, where did you grow up?
Oh, all right. Well, I grew up in Little Tolland, Connecticut. So
Yay!
probably few people recognize that, but it's like north central Connecticut. If anybody knows where the University of Connecticut is, it's like right there. Um, and born and raised there, spent basically my entire life there. And by entire life, I mean like 30 plus years.
Because you're a
Um,
baby.
I, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. So yeah, I grew up in Tallinn, a couple different houses in Tallinn, but Tallinn nonetheless. And then even after my high school years, I did move a couple times, but pretty much stayed in the Tallinn County vicinity until I Till I bought a house 1,000 miles away.
I can't even imagine the bravery that that took to just move away from everyone and everything. I can't even. I had a hard time moving to Middletown, Connecticut from Middlefield, Connecticut.
Oh, that's like
Um,
right next door.
yes, I live
Yeah.
7 miles from my parents, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, well, I knew I had to make a move that I was going to, or at least think I was going to really like because I hate moving. So I was like, I need to find a house that I'm willing to die in someday, like in hopefully a really long time from now. But yeah, yeah, I don't like moving, but I also don't like shoveling snow.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, there is a little bit of a
Well, I don't shovel snow because I'm a prima donna, but um, and lazy.
just let it melt. Just let
Let
it melt.
no, make my husband do it.
Well, there's that too. There's that too. I'd have to get a husband then.
Well, you've got dogs.
I do, yeah. Yeah, teach them how to use a shovel.
Oh, remind me, I have a great video of Mercury the first time he ever ran into snow, and he
Oh,
like
yeah.
goes running across the driveway and jumps in a pile of snow and just stops dead like, "Oh shit, this is deeper than me." Like, what do
Oh
I
my goodness.
do? It's so cute.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'll be expecting that later.
Yes, you will get it. Anyway, all right. So do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one older brother. So we're, I don't know, like just under 2 years apart, but we were one grade year apart. So it was kind of fun to have that built-in best friend growing up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he lives in New York City now. And he's married to my lovely sister-in-law. They've been together for, I'm going to get this wrong. I'm just going to throw something out there, like 10 years or something. I don't know, something like that.
It's
Um,
fact.
yeah, yeah,
Complete fact.
definitely. Fact check. I should probably know, but I don't. And then they've been married now for like, I'm going to get this one wrong. I think 6 years, something like that. And they have the most beautiful baby in the entire world. And I'm obsessed with her, my niece Grace.
Oh.
And she's definitely going to be a runner someday. She has a huge shoe obsession. I hope she listens to this someday and remembers that. And so she's 18 months and obsessed with shoes. So I
Oh,
think she's
she's a
going to be the
runner.
next ultra runner in the family. Yeah,
Oh, she's going to be a runner.
confident.
Do you
Yep.
have any other runners in your family?
No, none. So I'm hoping to raise one. Yeah, I mean via my niece. So
Right, right.
that's
So,
my
okay,
plan.
no runners in your family.
None. No, I mean
How the
I didn't even
hell
like running.
did you get into it?
It's a great question. Uh, so I was like that kid in school that I mean, I would run the presidential mile, fitness thing that we had to do. But, when they gave you the opportunity to go run it a second time, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll take what, if as long as I passed, like, no, thank you. And then like once we got into high school and we didn't have to do that anymore, like any excuse I could figure out to skip the running part of PE class, I was out. But
Same.
there was like this rotation we did in middle school where it was good old Tallinn Middle School, which I think is Tallinn Intermediate School now, next to Parker Elementary, which I don't even think is a building anymore. I don't even know if it exists anymore. But there was like this little tiny trail there. Actually, I should like go back and figure it out sometime. But I doubt it was even like a quarter of a mile out and back, but we did this cross country rotation in middle school. And I just thought it was so much fun running in the woods for all of that, like quarter of a mile or whatever it was out and back total. I don't even know if it was that far. And that always kind of stuck with me, but I never still avoided running at all costs because all I could just envision was that stupid mile we had to run in gym class. And
Mm-hmm.
it just ruined my day. So, so yeah, I really don't know how I got into running other than I was a very avid equestrian. It's a really fancy way of saying I blew all my money on horses. And I went down to South Carolina to buy a horse because naturally, why wouldn't I buy one in Connecticut where I lived, right?
No, that makes sense to
And
me.
yeah, so let's just drive 800 miles and buy a horse. So I did. And the gal who I bought said horse from is an ultra runner. And her good friend, who was a good friend of one of my friends in Connecticut, I hope everyone's following this, um, is also, well, she's not only a professional horseback rider, but she's an insanely elite ultra runner. And I was just absolutely inspired by these two women. I was just like, holy, you ran how far in the woods? Like,
That's amazing.
that's wild. So I just kind of thought maybe I'd go run a 5K or something, and maybe someday I'd run a marathon. And I really started running because of them. I was completely inspired by what they did. And I went home with my horse and I was excited to have my horse. I'm like, I'm gonna start running. And yeah, so I did, and it escalated. That was, oh boy, when did I buy red? I think that was roughly 2013 or 24. Yeah, we'll call it 2013. Someone can fact check that too, but yeah, somewhere around there. And then I ran my first marathon. I think it was in 2017, but I was starting to run a little bit more. I downloaded like that Asics app or Nike app or something on my phone, and I'd gotten a lot more into running and fitness. I was actually a general manager at Cardio Express for a couple of years during that time. So I'd gotten much more into fitness in general outside of horseback riding, which is a sport. If anybody wants to fight me on it,
No, 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 it's a
I will
sport.
fight them. Uh,
Especially
but
some of those distance, like, where they do well, I mean, all horseback riding is, but like
yes.
endurance
Yeah.
athletes. I've seen endurance horseback riders, you know,
Yeah.
transfer into distance running kind of easier than non distance
I believe
horseback
it.
riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did eventing, and then the last couple of years that I was really avidly horseback riding, I did the jumpers, and I've dabbled in a couple different sports of it, but I always loved doing hunter paces, trail rides. I would go out on like 4-hour trail rides with one of my friends and stuff. So just lots of really cool, fun stuff. But then I, had some life changes and whatnot, and then dove headfirst into running. But I had run my first and second, maybe third ultra while I was still riding, and gotten much more into running over those years as I started meeting more crazy horse people that ran really far.
Well, you have to be crazy to run really far. And it's just,
Yeah, so
where's
yeah,
your crazy being, right? Like crazy
exactly.
horse people, crazy runners.
Exactly. Makes
There's
sense.
a Venn diagram right here, like in my head, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It overlaps a lot.
Well, I feel like crazy and running, ultra running overlaps. Like they're the same circle.
Yes.
Although I guess you can be
Absolutely.
crazy and not an ultra runner, but I don't think you could be an ultra runner and not be crazy.
I think that's correct. I think
Yeah.
that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
I think that's why I get along with so many ultra runners. We all just kind of come from the same place.
Well, and we get it, right? Like we get how
Yeah.
insane it is. But I love the fact that you met, these strong, crazy women, and I bet they don't even know how they influenced you.
I like to tell them as often as I can, but I doubt they would ever, I know they would probably never take any kind of a credit for any of this. But I do try to tell them because it changed my life, obviously.
Right.
And I do admire every single thing they both do. Melissa, the gal who I actually bought my horse from, she, not tell her whole life story here, but she has gone on to become a para athlete, and she just won a couple gold medals at the World Games for outrigging. I don't know if that's the verb of it. I hope I'm saying it right, but over in Brazil at the U.S. World Games,
That's so
and
impressive.
she's so unbelievably amazing. And Sarah, who helped connect everybody with this horse, she is over in, oh, I hope I get this right too, Italy, I believe, right now. She won Tour de France last year. I think she was second the year before that. I believe that's what she's running upcoming after coming back from an injury on a horse this summer. And for a while during the pandemic, she held the FKT for the Nolan's 14 out in Colorado. So she's just like such an awesome person. So these two humans still inspire me today with all of the amazing things that they're doing and ability to just shift, when life changes and keep going. So yeah,
That's
I hope they
So
know, but
amazing. I just
yeah,
love hearing those stories, you know? E- Every time I hear a story, it it does. It's inspiring. Like, holy shit, these people do some crazy ass shit. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
And, and all it takes is one person to do something insanely cool and insanely inspiring to change your entire life. Like
Yes. Yeah,
they
oh,
completely changed my life just because of what they're doing for their joy and happiness in their lives.
yes. Finding, and I've said it before, I'll say it. Finding running saved my life in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because I had severe postpartum depression, blah, 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 blah. But like every day, hearing people's stories inspires me. And I don't just mean, yes, the elite athletes and the stuff that they do is absolutely mind-blowing. I will always have respect for them. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
also
absolutely.
people like, that come into it later in life or just find it somehow. It's all inspiring. Whether it's somebody who does their first 100 miler, Leanne Zarger is a perfect, right? Laz,
Yeah.
she just did her first 100 miler. And I'm like, girl,
Insane.
I can't. Like, it's so impressive. I
Yeah.
guess it was over a year now that she did it, but it's still like, you know what I mean? It's just inspiring. I love hearing the stories. I love watching people just accomplish, and again, whether it's doing their first 5K or their first, 100 miler, it's just impressive when people find passion and find support, and our community just does it at all times. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Connecticut, I mean, obviously I love my home down here just south of Chattanooga, but I will I will always die on this hill that Connecticut has such a special running community and it really can't be replicated any place else. I firmly believe that.
I agree.
And
A
yeah.
little biased maybe, but I agree. Like New England, and it's funny how there's different running communities and there's a lot of overlap between them, but they're all supportive of each other, right? Cuz
Yes.
there is the, like, especially in Connecticut with like the Run 169 group, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of them are doing, 5Ks every week to get to their 169 towns, and it's so they have, first of all, they've raised, I can't even guess how much money, right? But even
Yeah.
if, 169 races, most of that is going to charity because a
Right.
lot of those
Absolutely.
small town races, so they're making a huge impact on the community and the state. And then there's like the Connecticut Trail Mixers, which is, a lot of them are doing these big, huge, crazy things. Um, but it's just, and there's overlap between it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we are very lucky to be part of this community.
My only regret is I wish I had found those groups sooner. I was so afraid to go to a group run because I didn't think that I would be fast enough or what, I don't know, whatever, like talk
Yes,
myself out. And
same.
then was it 2019 or I was between jobs. I was working at a mortgage company in East Hartford that had gone out of business. And then I had gotten hired by the company that I work for now, but I had a slight gap between when that job ended and when I was starting this job. And finally I'm like, well, I could actually go to one of these evening runs. I think it was the Kinsman Brewing
Okay, yep.
um
Mhm.
run. And I was like, well, I could actually get there in time. I don't have work today. So going from Tallinn to, I don't even know what town that's in, but rush
Southington,
hour,
I think.
southern. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of a bear, but I was like, yeah, I could do that. I can't remember. Was it? No, I take that back. It was Castle Craig was the first one I went to. I still don't know where that is, but
Meriden.
same prince. Okay, perfect. Someone does. And I basically had talked to my after I had commented on the post that I was going, I had basically talked myself out of showing up. And it was Michelle Pompom
Mhm.
that convinced me that I should go. And I didn't know who she was. And I showed up and she was so welcoming. I ran with Tobias up to the top and he was so kind and so friendly. I had no idea he was only in high school. It was crazy. He was such a good runner. And I had so much fun with everybody. And they're like, yeah, there's other runs. And then I went to Kinsman. I think it was the next night or a couple days later or something. And that was my first introduction. And next thing you know, I was at like a trap rock group run. And yeah, yeah, it was doing the, what's that? Is it the tornado? Is that what it's called over at Ram?
Oh yeah, I've never done that. I should, but I've
Oh,
never done it.
I did the winter one. It was Howie,
Yeah, Howie.
myself, Stacy Clark.
She's such a
Um,
sweetheart.
oh my gosh, so fun. And then who else showed up? I'd have to look at pictures, but and then at the end, because it was snowing, it was a winter one. Um, we somebody had brought, I think it was Howie, it was from his mom's house, I think, this really heavy old school wooden toboggan, and we were sledding down the last sections at the end. It was, I still have some videos of it. I mean, the screams of laughter and like the snow flying in our faces and stuff, oh my gosh, unreal. Like just the best times. I mean, talk about type 2 fun. I don't even remember how long that took us, and it was probably like all of 3 miles or something, right? But it probably took us quite a few hours to do it. And yeah, and then we just like stood in the parking lot in the dark and drank hot chocolate. And yeah, it's one of those memories that I just won't ever forget.
That's so beautiful. It's
Yeah, it's
like,
amazing people.
yeah, yeah, we're very, very lucky. Um, yeah. So anyway, okay, now we're gonna talk serious because for anybody who doesn't know, you've done some amazing shit with your running, right? Like you did the Barkley Fall Classic,
I did. I
which
did.
is I can't even wrap my head around that. Okay, and you've done a bunch of 50Ks and a 50 miler. Is that right?
Yeah, officially 150 miler. I ran after I had to defer from the 50 miler that I officially ran this past year. The first time, uh, one of my well, Sarah, who is the one that's out of the country right now running really awesome stuff, I had reached out to her and I said, I need to go run 50 miles somewhere. Like, what do you think I should do? And I didn't want to sign up for a race at that moment because I had some stuff going on and needed something that would be a little flexible. She's like, I have the route for you. And I was like, all right. And it was, we ran 50 miles on the Pitchell route, which is on the Mountain to Sea Trail near Asheville. And it started at Mount Mitchell. And it was absolutely incredible. Probably, again, one of like the top, top 5 days of running of my life. So, yeah, anyway.
That's amazing. So your first 50 miler wasn't a race, it was just for funsies.
Yeah, because I was really sad about having to defer from my 50-mile race. So yeah, I was like, I need to go run 50 miles. And I mean, talk how amazing are running people that not only did she come up with the route, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was looking at the route, configuring a few different ways that I could do maybe like two different out and backs on it so that I could kind of just have my car as a aid station because I knew I could pack enough to to get me
Uh-huh.
halfway and then halfway again. And she nearly insisted that we were going point to point, starting at Mount Mitchell. She was going to be there. And she also had another friend come show up and follow us with a car. So I think it was the first 20 miles she and her friend crewed. And then she jumped in to run the last, the last 30 miles with me. Um,
I
so
fucking love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And like, not only was that just such an incredible day and to have the support of friends like that, like that's
Yep.
normal people don't just spend their entire Sunday or whatever day of the week it was doing that for some stranger. Um, because her friend didn't have a clue who I was. And then at the end, they both had gotten this Blue Ridge Parkway mug for me and a sticker and everything
Oh,
as like a 50-mile finish. And it I don't know, just like one of the most almost more special than finishing a race. Like it was just yeah, it was amazing.
so funny. My first 50 miler was remarkably similar. It was during COVID, and I was going to do a 50 miler. I had trained for it. And then my father had a heart attack and blah, 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 whatever. So I ended up like going down and only doing like the 20 miler. And I was upset and I just wanted to see if I was capable of doing it. So I just posted on Facebook and I'm like, well, I'm going to go to Weathersfield and I'm just going to see if I can hit 50 milers. And I'm going to start at this time. And if anybody wants to come and do miles, whatever. And I probably had 20 people show up throughout the day
Stop.
to
I love
get
that.
me to the 50 miler. And when I hit the 50, my friend Liz was there and I literally just fell into her crying because it was just out of the realm of even possibility in my head. So when I did it, it was just like you said, it was almost more special, right?
Yeah,
But it's funny because that's how this community is, though.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah, it's beautiful. So, yeah, so you have done these great, amazing things, and then what happened? Bring us home. Tell us what's going on.
yeah, so I guess to put this into perspective, so what to bring us to current, this actually really all started November of 2023. So I was in really good shape and getting ready for my first 50 miler, which was scheduled to be Cloudland Canyon 50 miler, which is, oh, probably 12 miles from where I lived. Really beautiful park in Georgia. And um, I started getting some pain in my right eye and blurry vision. Like literally, I can tell you the day and time it started. It was crazy. And it like so much pressure behind it. It felt like my eye was being pushed out of my head. So after a bunch of testing, and they discovered that my optic disc was swollen, which is not good. Uh, I was in the emergency room. They had to do an emergency spinal tap, and then I had to go back a couple days later for a blood patch where there's like a spinal fluid leak after um, the spinal tap, which also word to the wise. I hope nobody ever needs one of these, but I did ask if there were any restrictions after this spinal tap, and you can resume normal activities tomorrow. So I had
Telling an
uh,
ultra runner.
I don't know if I even told this guy. I probably did. I tell everybody I know that I run, but I don't know. I probably didn't tell him that I had a 50-mile race that week because this was actually the spinal tap was on like a Sunday, I think, and that race was that upcoming Saturday. And I went out and did my little like workout the next day, right? Like I think I had nothing crazy because I was coming up on my race, but I think I had like some 1 minute repeats or something like that. Um, and all of a sudden like things started getting worse. And they're like, oh yeah, just like give it a couple days. And it just kept getting worse, 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 worse. And they're like, you went out and ran after that. I was like, yeah, you said to resume my normal activities. So anyway, you're not supposed to run after that. And like word to the wise, otherwise then you'll end up needing this blood patch thing. So it was like this whole roller coaster that day in the emergency room. I had a doctor that knew about ultra runners. He was well, a little bit older, but he said he previously, like in his younger life, had been black belt in some type of martial arts, but he also had specialized in cardiology for a really long time and done some research on ultra runners and their hearts. And he had done like a 24-hour event. He goes, y'all are nuts, but um, but
Yes.
but yeah, I do know what that sport is, and I know that you guys are very. And he said, I forget exactly what he said, but he was very, very kind. Like he wasn't just like you're crazy. He was like, no, like that's a lot of training and effort. I said, I know what you're gonna say, but I said I have to ask. Can I run on Saturday? He goes, yeah. He's like, we're gonna get this blood patch for you today. Like we'll get you feeling great. You're gonna just hydrate, rest, and you'll run like hell on Saturday. And I said, I was like crying happy tears at this point because I thought this was over. And then anesthesiology comes in to do this procedure. He goes, oh, but here's the guy we really want to double check with. He goes, hey, she's an ultra runner. She's got a 50-mile race at Cloudland on Saturday. She can run on Saturday, right? And he goes, absolutely not. Like, just like matter of factly. And I just burst into tears again. And then they both walk out, and I can hear them like, what do we do? We just made that girl cry. I'm like, guys, it's
Oh,
okay. Like, it's really not like, it's just been a roller coaster of like 5 minutes here. So anyway, I didn't run. I upset a couple doctors, but they meant well. I apologize profusely. Um, but then, so anyway, so the swelling of the optic disc, that's called papilledema. And then trying to figure out what's causing that has been has brought us to today, because it never went away, essentially. So it's been, well, I'm still going to call it a year and a half because we're not at 2 years yet, of trying to figure out what's going on, why I've had this eye pain and pressure, blurry vision, intermittent swelling, all of that stuff. I've been on countless medications, been to the Mayo Clinic, Vanderbilt, blah, 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 blah. Um, Kind of with like no real answers.
That is
And
insane.
yeah, yeah, it is. So I finally went up to a hospital in North Carolina, which I mean, the drive up was kind of nice because I drove past Asheville and the signs to get off the highway to go run on Mountain to Sea. And I'm like, oh, I could just get off the highway right now and find some running shoes and just do something completely different right now since I have the week off from work to be coming up here. But I didn't. I kept driving up to Winston-Salem, to go meet with this neurosurgeon who was very confident that he'd be able to help. So I had a consultation with him on like a Tuesday, I think it was. And then Wednesday, he went in to do a venogram, angiogram, and another spinal tap. So at this point, this will be my, I think, third or fourth spinal tap, and then
Ouch.
third venogram and angiogram, which, if anybody doesn't know what an angiogram or venogram is, they go in through an artery with a like a catheter basically, and then like stick that from that artery, like they guide, I shouldn't say stick it, they guide it up, to your brain basically, or whatever part of the body they're looking at. They looked at my brain, neck, or heart, all of that stuff. They put like contrast dye in there, and there's like a big X-ray machine the entire time that's like taking computer X-ray machine that's taking pictures the entire time so that they can see stuff and they can get measurements of things and different pressures.
Now, are
So
you
he did,
awake during this?
yes.
Oh God. Okay.
The first two times I had it done, I was lightly sedated and had some pain medication. This time, since it was a hospital protocol, since I was there by myself, even though I was staying, like I hadn't driven myself there, like I was staying someplace that had a shuttle transportation 2 miles away. It was hospital protocol that I could not have any pain medication or sedation for this
Oh
one.
shit. Okay.
Um, so yeah. So anyway, that's the procedure. And I had it done before, so at least like I knew what to expect going into it. Even though I highly recommend the sedation and pain medication. I hope nobody needs it, but yeah, take my word for it there. I mean, it is kind of interesting to watch fully awake because you're like, oh, it's my brain. All right. Oh, I felt that. Okay, that's interesting.
Wait, and
Um,
this is coming from someone who does ultra running for fun. So, like, okay.
well, yeah, I mean, I proved my point to them that I had a pretty high pain tolerance by the end of it. They're like, okay, yeah. Like the techs in the OR were like, where's anesthesia? And he's like, she's not getting any. And they're like, no, really, where's anesthesia? Like, no, she doesn't have anybody to drive her home. So she's not getting, they're like, I don't think they'd ever seen anyone do it without sedation. Um, they were like, all right. I'm like, I got this, guys. Don't worry about it. I won't, and like, you have to not move. So I'm like, I got this. I got this. And I nailed it.
I'm
Um,
cringing. Okay.
yeah, well, you probably should, but, and then the needle they use for the lumbar puncture is like an epidural needle. So it's like, it's pretty good size that they jab in there.
I've had
So
a few of those. So yeah,
I
that I
figured more
know.
people might know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so they still make you go to recovery and watch you for a little while. And then the doctor came in. So they did kind of figure out what the problem was. That my jugular veins, which, God, I hope there's nobody really smart medically listening to this and just going to correct all of my inaccuracies here. But my understanding is the jugular veins actually do a lot of like the draining of the fluids inside your brain, like blood, spinal fluid, stuff like that.
Okay.
And on the left side, my jugular vein, I have severe stenosis of that jugular vein. And then on the right side, it's moderate. And if I turn my head, the left side is, I believe the word they use is occluded, but basically nothing's going through it when I turn my head, which means, from what the doctor explained, that's causing a buildup of pressure on the right side, which is what's causing the pain, inflammation, etc.
I mean, logically,
Uh,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It
So
took a long
don't
time.
fact check us. We obviously know what we're talking about.
I think I got all that terminology right, but I could be completely off on my terminology. Um, so so yeah, the difficulty is any of the procedures that they can do to try to make it better at this point are incredibly experimental, and there's a lot of risks involved.
Ugh.
So yeah. So anyway, so this procedure gets done. It's a pretty uh, routine, I guess I would say, like diagnostic procedure that they did. And so I leave for the night and I get back to where I'm staying and I collapsed at the dinner table there and got woken up by EMS. And yeah, that was good.
Oh
So
my
they kind
God.
of insisted that I go back to the hospital. I'm like, no, I really just want to have my dinner, guys. Like, I would like to not go back to the hospital. But I didn't win that one. Went back to the hospital, and I will never forget the ER doctor was like, this is kind of like a classic presentation of, we would be concerned if somebody had a blood clot or something, but your vitals are a little bit better than when you came in, and it would be really, really rare. So, what? It's like now it's like 2 o'clock in the morning now, and he's like, you're probably just in a lot of pain, really tired, really hungry. I'm just going to get you out of here. I was like, that sounds fantastic. Thank you. They gave me a Tylenol and I left. Um, and then I stayed in town one extra day since I, well, let me appropriately phrase that. Friends and family did not think it was a good idea for me to drive 6 hours home that day.
I'm going to
With a
support them in this one.
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking I might try to drive home that day because I missed my dogs, but it,
Understandable, but
but I stayed, but but I didn't stay the next day and went home the next day. So I get my dogs most importantly back home, and um I take my like week or 10 days of kind of downtime from exercise, which you have to do after the vanogram and the angiogram because they go into an artery. So that one you have to be really careful to let that heal up. And I start getting back into some running. And at this point, it's like end of June, right? Like this procedure was like the 18th of June. It's like 10 days later, so it's the end of June. Starting to get really hot down here in the greater Chattanooga area. I live in Northwest Georgia, right outside of Chattanooga. And my runs are like not feeling great. I'm having some pain going up my jugular when I'm running. And I'm just like, oh, I guess that's maybe from the procedure. I don't know. And then I started having chest pain that was going to my right arm. And I reached out to the doctor's office and I did the procedure. And I said, hey, I've got this chest pain. It's going to my right arm. Is that anything that I should have looked at or whatever? And the nurse said, no, it's probably just a side effect of a medication that they were trying me on. And, like if you really can't tolerate the medication, we can try something different. So, in my mind, I'm like, okay, suck it up, Jenna. Like, suck it up, keep doing your thing. Like, and I know the doctor really wanted me on that particular medication to try to reduce some of the spinal fluid. It's called Diamox. Some people might know what it is because they give it to some folks when they go up to altitude for altitude sickness. And anyway, so I'm like, you know what? He wanted me on it for I think 3 or 4 weeks. So it's like I can, if this is all that's going to happen or whatever, I can deal with it for 3 or 4 weeks. So I started getting this huge bruise on my upper right leg.
you showed me a
So
picture of that bruise. That was
it's
sick.
gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just kind of chalking this up to it's not where exactly where they went in with the catheters and stuff, but it's I don't know, a few inches lower than that. So I'm like, I'm just making excuses for everything. And I'm like, well, running's probably harder because it's humid, it's hot, like it's finally summer. And then it was the weekend of the 4th of July. And I had actually like in my running brain, like this made sense to me. This is something that made sense to me and nobody else thinks it makes sense. But I picked where I was going to run. This is the 5th of July, actually. I picked where I was going to run because it was only like depending on which route you took in it, it's like a 2 to 3 mile loop. So I was going to do my long run there because I would always be close to my car where I hadn't been feeling well running. I was like, well, something happens or I need to bail. Like I'll have my car right there. So that made sense to me. I felt like that was a smart decision. Like that
Yeah.
was
That actually
me.
does make sense.
It wasn't don't run, which I found out later was the appropriate answer to this, but um I don't know, my mind. And I was like, well, and at the top of you get a lot of vert on this little loop, but at the top and at the bottom, there's some pretty flat sections. So I was like, well, and if I really don't feel well on the ups and downs, I can just do some back and forth up, on the top or the bottom, whatever. So, because I was convinced maybe it was only bothering me going like uphill, or, I was making all these excuses, right? And so I did my long run, which that day I think was just about 13 miles, something like that, just under that. And get home and do some stuff around the house. And I just so happened to be talking to a friend I met through running. I'm going to go with running saved my life here. So I met her her name's Kara. I met her at the first race I did when I moved down here. It was a 8 mile trail race. And she lives probably like an hour and a half south of me. She actually is an interventional radiology technician, which means that she does the procedures that I had done as a technician every single day.
Okay, so she
So
knows what she's talking about.
yes, which I had no idea what she did for work until I started going through all of this. I just knew she did something with like x-rays that was like really specialized. That was about it. And she started travel nursing a couple of years ago doing this and is absolutely loving it. And she's out in Salt Lake City right now and it looks absolutely beautiful. I definitely want to go there someday. But with that being said, I haven't been talking to her as much because of the time difference. So I'm still Eastern time, even though I'm right on the border of Eastern and Central, and she's Pacific time. So I just so happened to be talking to her that afternoon, and she was asking how the procedure went and stuff. And I was telling her a little bit about my symptoms and that bruise on my leg and what had been going on. And she was like, not to scare you or anything, but I really think you should get a CT scan. And I was like, no, I just need to suck it up. Like, and between her and one of my other good friends from back in Connecticut that is a nurse, they both that day were like, no, you really need to go get a CT scan. So I'm like, geez, Louise, it's like 3 o'clock on a whatever day of the week, or Saturday, I guess it was. And I had laundry. I just made my bed. Like I just want to go to bed and have dinner, hang out with my dogs, right?
I
So
get
I was
that.
like, all right. I was like, well, let me get this laundry out, fold the laundry, and then we have this little emergency room that's not attached to a hospital here. Like it's part of one of the hospitals, but it's literally a standalone emergency room. It does everything an emergency would do, but they're going to like send you home that day, right? Like they have no place to admit you. They don't have beds to keep people overnight, but they have CT, x-ray, whatever. So I knew these people were just going to tell me that I was being a drama queen. I was overreacting. I was fine. And I figured it would be faster because most people would probably go to the emergency room that's attached to the full hospital. It's a holiday weekend and all that. And I was right. They were fast. The doctor comes out. The doctor actually got me out of the waiting room, and he was cool. He's a younger guy, does rock climbing and stuff. So he athletic, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll just make sure it's nothing life threatening, and we'll get you out of here." I was like, "That sounds perfect. Thank you." Emphasis on the get me out of here.
Yeah.
And then he does some blood work and CT scan, whatever, and then he comes back in. He like shuts the door and sits down. I'm like, "Oh, good grief, what are we doing now?" And he goes, "So you have multiple pulmonary embolisms in your right lung." And I was like, um, okay, what does that mean?
Right. Like,
He's like,
what the
so
fuck?
he was like, yeah, so that means you have a blood clot that has like broken off somewhere and now it's in your lungs. And he's like, that's really dangerous. And I was like, oh, so that's probably why I haven't felt well running. And he goes, you've been running? And he goes, wait, did you ran today? I said, yeah, I had a long run this morning. He goes, how far did you run? I said, I don't think we should talk about that. But
I'm
and
gonna plead the fifth on this one.
yeah, he's like, did you feel okay when you were running? I said, no, absolutely not. I said, I picked a loop that was like near my car because I didn't feel well. And he goes, it didn't occur to you that you should stop running and get help or something. I said, no, it didn't actually. Like, I thought that was a smart decision. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to recommend that we get you admitted to the hospital. And we're going to have to transport you to the real hospital. And I said, well, can I go home and get my dogs someplace safe and feed them first? And he goes, no, you can't. And I was like, but my dogs. This went on back and forth for a few minutes. I was like, I'm here. Like, I live here alone. My family's 100 or like 1,000 miles away. Like, my dogs are home alone. Like, he goes, you have multiple pulmonary embolisms in your right lung. You could die. I cannot let you go home and do anything with your dogs. Like, make a phone call, do what you got to do. He goes, or you're leaving against medical advice and you can go back to the other hospital and start this process all over again. And he goes, I can't guarantee, like, I don't know how much time you have at this point. Like, I don't know how long these have been there. Like, you could die. And I'm like, oh, but my dogs. um, so, so anyway, I made a few phone calls. Dogs got someplace safe. I'm very lucky to have some amazing folks down here to take care of my dogs. Like, I could go on for like 3 hours about how amazing these humans are. Um, but in my chart that I got later when I got to the other hospital, he literally wrote in my chart because they had to switch shifts. Like, he left at like 7 o'clock or whatever, and so he had to finish his notes in there. And it actually says like recommending patient to be admitted. Patient is deciding if she's going to agree to be admitted or like leave, basically like leave against the medical advice because dogs. That's all said. Because dogs.
Which
Like,
is the
that's accurate.
most.
Like, it's very on brand.
Yeah, and I get it. I really get it.
He actually said to me, like, so your dog's lives are more important than yours. Like, he was trying to like really make a point to me, and I was like,
Yes.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
actually. Like,
I would die for
yes,
my dogs, like
I would
in a
die for my
heartbeat.
dogs. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the conversation we're having right now, 100%. I was like, what's the difference if I have to drive to this other? He's like, you're not driving to the other hospital. Like, an ambulance is going to take you. And I was like, oh. So I got to leave my car here. Like, what a disaster.
Do you
So
understand this is inconveniencing me?
yeah, like, it's a huge inconvenience. And like, I understand you're trying to help, but God, like, can my dogs come with me to the hospital? Like,
Can you just go get can the ambulance just
can we go? Yeah, can the ambulance swing by my house and can pick up my dogs? There's gotta be an answer. So so yeah. So anyway, it's really not a good time. Spent a couple days in the lovely Parkridge Medical Center. Um, 10 out of 10, not a good time. Really can't say anything nice about any of that. But I do have some very good friends back home that were checking on me, which was great. And a couple friends down here that were checking on me, and someone brought me a phone charger. And I'm very thankful for that. I mean, I had nothing with me because I thought I was going home. I thought I was
right.
overreacting. So it was like, I also got so many stories. Well, I shouldn't say so many, but like too many, like 5 stories from people that reached out to me saying somebody really close to me died within the past couple of years. I was young and healthy from a pulmonary embolism that didn't get detected. So I just think it's super important that like there's more awareness around what the symptoms are. And like, I mean, mine they believe was caused by this procedure. They later on did an ultrasound to find the rest of the blood clot still in my leg. So they were able to track that to where the procedure was, but they can happen for a million different reasons or for kind of no reason. People can just be more predisposed depending on how thick their blood is and other factors to having a blood. I've learned all about these things. So, I mean, yeah, I had chest pain going to my arm, which I should have got. If you have chest pain that goes to your arm, please go to the emergency room. Don't go run in the woods. But
Right.
um
Right.
but I could have kept pushing through the pain. Like, it wasn't so bad that I was like, well, and yeah, I feel like a lot of us do have a high pain tolerance. I'm like, yeah, I guess I can keep pushing through this. Like, I can go run 50 miles in the woods. I can run up Bradshaw in the middle of the day. Like, yeah, I can get through a couple more weeks of this. And it's scary that there's, I know enough people, and I don't know that many people, that there's that many people that I know that there's 4 or 5 young people that died in the last couple of years because they never had the friend that said, go get the CT scan and get help. And I just feel very, very blessed that,
There's almost a toxicity in, I think, sports in general, where it's, no pain, no gain, right? Where,
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, there's going to be pain. If you're doing the shit we do, we're having
yes,
pain. But it's important to know the difference, right?
yeah. And
Like,
it's
there's a
hard
big difference
sometimes,
between, oh, I've got blisters and they hurt,
right?
and, um, I had somebody stick a stint through my arteries and I went and did a half marathon. Um,
Oops. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, I love you.
I
But
mean, at that point, I was
also,
clear to start running again. But yeah, it's like, I think part of the thing that I love about running is like a pain that you can control. And that probably doesn't sound normal either, but I always call it like type 2 fun because you're going out there, you're losing your breath. Like it's difficult, it's a challenge. I don't know what it is. Like the way I describe it doesn't make it sound that appealing, but there's just something about it that I enjoy. And no matter like whether I'm like feeling amazing or I'm going through like something harder in life or whatever, there's just something about it. And being in the woods and um when you're not sick and don't have, some blood clot in your lung, if something hurts while you're running or whatever, like when you stop running, it should stop hurting. Like, there's a certain amount of that. And it's this almost this thing that you can control to some degree and push yourself. And I don't know, I guess I kind of get used to that. And then I also don't want to be a whimper, and I don't like asking for help. I found that as a pretty common trend in people that I know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so I don't want to be a burden on anybody, and I literally going through my mind, I didn't want to take up space in the emergency room for somebody who is like actually sick because I didn't think that I could possibly have anything that it's a holiday, like they're going to be short staffed, like all of these things through my mind of like why I should not go to the emergency room that night, like all of these things. And the doctor was very clear, like you might not have woken up tomorrow. Like
yeah. No, I
it's
mean, it's a really good thing you went, obviously.
yeah, I mean the biggest thing I guess if anybody has chest pain ever, like it's not normal,
No.
go to the emergency room. Like I would love for you to have a bill that you have to figure out how to pay and them tell you that it's nothing, then find out it was something or
Yeah.
never find out it was something. Like yeah, it's that whole like learning to listen to your body thing that it's it's easier said than done for sure.
Agreed, 100%. And I think society kind of will do it both sides, right? For like men, it's like you have to be manly and you can't back down from pain and you can't, right?
Yeah.
And women, we're kind of just ignored. So we
Yes.
live with it in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. Um, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's trusting your instincts too. Um, or trusting your friend's instincts in your case.
Yes. I mean, looking back on it, for me to have even reached out to the doctor's office because I was in discomfort, like I had to have been in like some pretty significant discomfort because I wouldn't just call the doctor if it was like something minor that I wasn't like a little, this doesn't seem quite right, you know?
Right.
Um, and I should have known at that moment to like not mess around with reaching out to them and just gone and seen a doctor. Um, but yeah, like it's like all these little things in hindsight, but I have to wonder, like, these other, actually, and one of my friends that passed away from a couple different, was she unfortunately had a couple medical issues, but she had been having some chest discomfort and stuff. It was during COVID, and she did not feel like she was getting heard by the medical professionals, and it turned out she did have a pulmonary embolism, and she's no longer with us, but there were a few complications. I don't know if that was ultimately the cause, or she ended up having cancer as well, which absolutely unbelievable, crazy, and heartbreaking. She was not much older than me, so
Oh, just a
um
baby.
yeah, but it's just like advocating for yourself and getting medical help. And I think that's part of the discouraging thing, like a year and a half of trying to get help for this other thing. It gets a little discouraging. You're like, I don't think I want to go see another doctor. Um,
Right. Uh, and I don't blame you on that. Like, it's insane trying to get the help you need when you need it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And it's expensive.
Oh, it's
Let's just
so
be,
expensive.
yeah. Like, I mean, I, this is the, but also summer. But I am glad that I have the job that I can pay for. I can pay for the bills when they come in or set up a payment, whatever has to be done, everything can get paid. And I'm thankful that I'm in a position that I can, like you said, I have a job, I can pay for, like, I can do this. I don't, and I'm lucky that I'm alive to go back to the
Right.
job
Right.
that, I can pay for this. So it's like a whole mixed thing of like gratitude and, like everything else. But yeah, it's it's a very complicated situation.
It really is. And the whole, I'll get on my soapbox a little bit here, but the medical situation is in this country is not okay. I give an example. One of my son's medications, our copay was $4,000 a month
Holy Toledo.
for a copay, and we have good
That's absurd.
insurance. Yeah, yeah. It's
Holy mackerel.
the pharmaceutical expenses, and my medication that I have to get for my autoimmune is, I can't remember if it's $5,000 a shot, or because I get 2 shots every 2 weeks, and I can't remember. I think it's $5,000 every 2 weeks for the injections that
Holy
I
Toledo.
get. Now, that's covered by our medical. I only have to pay like $50 a shot, but like
Only. Yeah.
only. But it's insane that like so many people have to make those decisions where you're like, well, I don't want to get some bill, so I'm not going to go. I'm going to ignore what's going on, or
Yeah.
I can't. I know what's going on, and I can't afford my medication. Um, but
I
anyway,
will
yeah,
say at
go
this,
ahead.
the one, like on that same note, the one thing I will say is like that I thought was very, was a good thing at this hospital when I was leaving. Obviously, I had to leave on blood thinners and things like that, which you're on for a while when this happens. I guess those medications are really expensive, but this trip to the hospital hit my out-of-pocket maximum. So,
You're
I
like, let
no
me get
longer was going to have
everything
a,
done this year.
like, okay, like let's just keep rolling, guys. So I knew I wasn't going to have to worry about that when I got to CVS because I had just hit my out-of-pocket maximum, which meant I had already spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Um, but they actually had two different people come in to make sure, like, I guess they must have been nurses, social workers, whatever they were, to ensure that I was going to be able to afford to pay for them.
Oh, that's
And
good.
they had like various coupons and things like that. And if I was, I don't know what they were going to do if I said no, but it was like that important that I take them that I have no idea what the plan was if I said, no, I couldn't or whatever. But I do give them a lot of credit for like sending people in to make sure about that because I can't even imagine. Like, I don't know what the actual copay cost would have been of these guys if I hadn't hit my out of pocket maximum. But I mean, if it was one of those, what do they call it, tier three or whatever it is, when it's like the really expensive ones, it's a $50 copay or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, that's a significant expense
Yeah.
every month, even
Yeah.
if it is to stay alive. That's a lot of money.
It really
A lot of
is.
money.
With I don't know, I don't think it's the same now, but I remember when my kids were younger, and um 3 of us in my house need EpiPens.
Oh my
And
gosh.
there was a time where EpiPens with insurance were 6 or $700 a pop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that was out of pocket, and it was, and with school or you know, preschool or anything like that, you have to have a fresh EpiPen all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
every year, this was a yearly expense because you would have to have a new one. And it got to the point where I'm like, I'm not buying myself a $600 EpiPen. I'll just hold the kid's old one for me in
yeah,
case of an emergency, you
right.
know, because the kids need them. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. And then I think something happened where a new, because it was the injector that was so expensive,
Okay.
but they have a new injector now or something. And I don't check me on that part of it because I don't know.
Here we're
Um,
having medical conversations and neither of us have a medical degree. I love it.
listen, I know that I have an EpiPen and I forget it all the time.
Okay,
Um,
jeez.
most of my friends' life goals are to stab me with it, so I have to watch everything I eat, and stay away from bees because,
Ooh.
yeah, my friends are awful. No, really, their life goal is to
Oh,
stab me.
I hope they never reach that goal.
I know, right? It's weird to
Oh
like
man.
not want your friends to reach goals, but in this
In
case,
this case, we'll make an exception.
I love it. All right, so what's the prognosis now that you've had all this going on? Like, what is your
So
situation going forward?
yeah, so currently prognosis is good. They monitor stuff for a little bit. I have some upcoming CT scans later this week, and I'll be on these heavy duty blood thinners for a minimum of 6 months. And then after 6 months, I guess they recheck everything. So I thought the blood thinners actually got rid of the blood clots and the embolisms shows what I know about any of this. It doesn't. They have to kind of work their way out on their own. I guess over time they just like break down more and eventually just. And I'm sure there's some medical term for this, but I used the word dissolve and some doctor yelled at me and told me I was wrong not to use that word. But they just kind of like go away in your bloodstream after a while. But the blood thinners thin your blood down so much so that hopefully new ones can't form. And then after they make sure everything's gone, they'll do some more blood work to ensure that I don't have to stay on the blood thinners longer. So it's interesting. Like um, after that, I was not allowed to run, and you can't
Shocking.
go on an airplane. That was an interesting one. I wouldn't have guessed that.
So is
Uh,
the airplane for the whole 6 months while you're on the blood thinners, or?
I don't think so. I have to double check on that soon, but I think it's just in the beginning, like the first few months, uh, while the blood clots are like, or the
Breaking down.
embolisms are like in your lungs. I think it has to do with the pressure and the embolisms in your lungs. I think after like 3 months or so, you can usually get on a plane. Um, and they're like, don't touch anything sharp. I'm like, okay, because
Because you
you
don't
can
the
bleed
bleeding.
really easily. Yeah.
And
So,
don't like climb ladders or something, because if you fall and hit your head, it
yeah,
can be really
probably.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
You have to
like,
be careful
so
falling.
yeah. Well, always be careful falling, fall
I mean,
carefully.
yeah, but
So, so like horseback riding comes in good. They teach you how to do that like special. It's kind of like stop, drop, and roll off a horse. And but like nobody ever like there's almost never a time when you can actually like execute this, like even if you practice it, because nobody plans to fall off a horse. It's kind of like stop, drop, like you're planning to get lit on fire or something, right? Like, and we did all that stop, drop, and roll
yeah,
practice when we were in
I
kindergarten.
thought it was going to
Um,
be much more needed when I was an adult,
yeah,
but
I have never, knock on fake wood or whatever I have here, but yeah, so practice falling carefully. I was like, so what about like cutting my grass? They're like, well, yeah, you can cut your grass, but maybe don't string trim your yard or anything. And I'm like, well, that's gonna look pretty messed up if I don't do that. So, all right, we'll just put some boots on when I do that or something. I don't, like, good grief.
yeah.
It's not really possible, especially living alone, but being careful, um, and trying to make good choices.
Which ultra
Um,
runners are known for.
yeah, clearly we have demonstrated that. I have definitely demonstrated that
I
throughout
was
this
going to say,
conversation.
excuse me,
I'll
miss
speak for
ignoring.
myself. Yeah.
Half marathon
Oh,
while
what
dying.
was
I can't.
I cannot.
I'd never loved you
So
more.
it's, I've had to, I realized very quickly that I don't really have any hobbies that are conducive to not doing something that's on the don't do this list right now. Like I've listened to so many people talk about, like don't let running be your identity, right? Like, what are you going to do if you can't run or get injured or this or that? And, I was thinking to myself, like, well, I walk my dogs and I love doing stuff around the house. Like, give me my power washer, like, give me a house project or something. Like, I've changed just about every electrical thing in this house as far as like lights. I've added outlets. I'm not licensed to do any of that, but I've done it. And I've swapped out almost every plumbing thing in this house too, which again, not licensed, but I've done it. Like all of these, like you can't do all because especially when I first got out of the hospital, I mean, I was getting out of breath just walking my
Right.
dogs for 10 minutes. Never mind doing heavy lifting house projects so it's like literally, you're going down this list like, no, I can't do any of that. And it's like I need to paint my fence outside. I have a couple boards I need to replace. To me, like those are like, I go for a long run in the morning and I'll do that in the afternoon, right? Like along with probably a couple other things. Like to me, that's not, yeah, it's a project that takes some effort, but it's to me that would be like, oh, I'm injured, I could do that project. Like
Right.
there's a lot of things I could do. Actual sedentary stuff, I'm like, I have no hobbies that fit this. Like what am I going to do?
I can
um
recommend some really obnoxious books.
I have been doing a lot of audiobooks, especially with some of the blurry vision I've had. It has made actually reading more difficult.
Right.
And I don't watch a lot of TV. But I love music and I love books. So I've been doing a lot of audiobooks. But it's like at some point you kind of like got to take a break from something and do something different. So I played piano growing up. I was never very good at it, but I love music and I my dad had actually brought me back down my old keyboard over the winter. So I was like, you know what? Let's work on playing that. Like I can do that. So I,
So
started doing that again. Like 20 years later. Uh I forget there was something I tried doing that I just wasn't very I like I'd never done before.
I'm trying to think.
I
I'm
don't even
thinking
remember
like, oh,
what.
puzzles, but you got to use your eyes for that.
Well, yeah, and I can use my eyes, but it's just like, sitting there reading a book for hours and hours would just get really frustrating and be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, I used to love crocheting and knitting. My grandmother taught me how to knit and crochet. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get some yarn and a old pattern and like start. And so I started like I made this little bear, and then I made a little dog, and then I made so then I've got like Farmville growing over here of little crocheted animals. And one of my running friends challenged me to try to make a labubu. I don't really know what a labubu is. I still don't, so don't ask me other than
I've
I
heard of
know they're a
this,
thing.
and yeah.
People are trying to compare them to Beanie Babies. I'm like, there is no comparison to the Beanie Baby
See,
like
I'm younger.
craze.
I mean, I'm not as young as you. I'm older than you. So I missed the Beanie Baby.
Oh, okay. I was like, I was born in 1989, in case anybody,
Okay, you're just a
is
baby.
curious. So I was right smack dab, like in the Beanie Baby
Beanie Baby
chaos.
phase. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's, but it, like I don't, to me, it just can't be the same. I mean, I'm sure you can order a Labubu online. Like we were trying to like get good grades in school that week so that our mom would take us to, there was this place in, it was actually Willington. So if anybody's like an old school Connecticut, Tolland, Willington, Ellington, they will know this place called Queen Anne Station, and they would get the Beanie Baby drop or whatever it was, or their order in on I forget what day of the week it was, but it was Friday or whatever. And if like we earned a trip down there, like or we'd saved our money or whatever, I forget how much they're probably like $5 or something, but
Yeah,
I
they were.
really don't.
I think they were like $5 to $10.
Yeah, and we'd go down there and see if they had this Beanie Baby we were looking for or whatever. And like that was like the most exciting part of our week. Like, did they have it, Or there was that other toy store. It was like, oh God, it had that like funny logo on it. It was over in Manchester, where like in the plaza where Walmart is.
Was it
Um,
KB?
no, not KB. It was like I want to call it like Noodle Cadoodle or something. I don't even know if
Oh, I've
that's
never
right.
heard of that.
I'm gonna have to like look it up later, but it's gonna drive me crazy. But there was this other. It was there used to be a pool store over there. Oh Jesus, I can see it. But anyway, so anyway, you get your parents going on a wild goose chase all over Tellin Hartford County looking for these Beanie Babies. So anyway, I crocheted myself a little lafufu because apparently that's what you call a knockoff labubu is a lafufu. So made myself a little lafufu. Um,
I
Allie has
love
tried
it.
to eat it a few times, so I don't know.
Well,
Guess that
she's a
tells
good
you.
girl.
Yeah, she is. Uh, saving me from the lafufu. Um, and
Mercury got between me and a bag of salad one time and protected me. I, I'm telling you
what a
right now.
good boy.
I
Yeah,
know. I know.
I
He'd
feel
also
so
get
safe.
between me and almost any food because he'll eat almost any food.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
but we're gonna pretend he did it because he loves me.
he definitely did it because he loves you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Allie, God, she gets herself in some situations with turtles. She's gonna be one that like where if she finds a snake someday, she's gonna need to get rescued a second time because I can't, I can't handle that. But yeah, you're so much trouble, kid. Um, and then I started. I've always thought it was really cool, like watching people do really awesome tie dye. Like anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Grateful Dead fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I love going to Shakedown Street, if you know, you know. And I just always think that people who are really good at doing tie dye, I just am amazed by what they do and their talent and how cool it is. It's like I bet I could figure that out. And so I've been like going on Reddit. There's like all these little subreddits on tie dyeing and like blogs and like videos of how to fold things different ways. So I've been like doing all these different ties. So at some point I'm gonna have to stop because it's like I'm gonna end up tie dyeing my dog next. I mean, she's a good color to tie dye, but um, yeah, it's getting a little crazy here. So,
I should let you
but
tie dye my hair because that shit would be epic.
yes, oh, that would be so fun,
Yeah, it would
so fun.
bleed and it wouldn't last, but that shit would be
No,
cool.
but it would still be fun.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah. So I mean, there has been some good, I guess, that's come out of all of this because it has like put me in a spot to like learn and I hope that I continue to do some of these things. Like, yes, I am actually cleared to start doing some exercise beyond walking. So I've been doing a couple jogs a couple times a week, which it's one of those like mixed blessing things, right? Because I am super excited to go out, even if it's just on the roads, and run. But it's also a little bit frustrating because it's like as happy as I am to be out there, it's also really frustrating to know that like this isn't my fault. I didn't ask for this, and I am physically very far away from the shape I was in 3 months ago, or
Right.
whatever it was.
Right.
And there's no exact timeline on like how fast I'll get better, like if I'll get to 100%. I mean, the hope is that I'll get to 100% of where I was before. I mean, obviously I'm going to run again because I have gone for some short jogs and stuff like that. But and I don't want to say like, oh, it's so slow, because I mean, there's probably somebody that, my jog that is making me frustrated is probably faster than, whatever, but it's all relative to what you're
You're
used to
comparing
and where
yourself to you,
you're,
not to other
yeah,
people.
exactly. So I
Right.
just want to be careful what I say there, but it's like, yeah, so it's like a mixed thing, with a lot of, I'm grateful to be alive. I keep saying this over and over again. Like, I am so grateful for the privilege to be frustrated because I know that, this could have gone a very different direction and I would have never had the chance to be frustrated. So I'm very grateful for that. But I think it's also okay to be a little bit bummed out. I had, as you know, but not necessarily everybody else knows, I had a trip planned to the Grand Canyon, which would have probably gotten derailed for completely different reasons, to run R3, but I had the plane ticket, well, plane ticket still bought, but, everything booked to go do that in October. And that, well, it's not really happening for anybody, but I wasn't even able to reroute my plan there,
Yeah.
due to planes and fitness. Because even if it was partially opened, just from a safety thing, like
You couldn't
no
go down
matter,
there now. You
no,
couldn't
like
do
that
that.
would not be, it's
No.
it's also a matter of even like why I'm going to stay on the roads for a while. Like, respect to our sport, right? Like when you go out
Yes.
onto the trails, you're if something happens to you,
You're putting someone
you're
else's life
putting,
on the line.
exactly,
Yeah.
if somebody has to come in and get you. So, for right now, I have to do what's right for our sport and for me, and I don't like that.
Well,
But
here's the deal. I will make you a deal because I'm still going in October. Now, they have reopened part of it, but they will not open the North Trail until November. So I'm not going
oh,
to be able to do
interesting.
rim to rim to rim. So, so long story short, I'm going to go do part of the Grand Canyon, Zion, and Bryce while I'm out
I
there.
love that.
But I still want to go do the R3. So
Yes.
we will go together.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be in a couple years. I don't know, but we're going to go do it together.
Yes, that would be amazing. This is something I've wanted to do for so long.
You
Well, so
do know
I'm
you'll
like
be
so
going
long.
very slowly if you're with me, right? You know that.
I don't care. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I just want to go,
I do
you know,
too.
and I just want to like go and finish safely and just have a great day. Like one of my favorite things that my coach, which I do run with a coach and I'm very thankful for him. He's a DPT as well as a running coach and Friends Ultras and super awesome human. And during this, I'm really glad to have him and have his perspective on everything and to also help me figure all of this out and what's safe to do and, working with my
Because your
doctors and
safety
everything.
is number one.
Yeah, yes, I have to remember that. And having people also to I'm like kind of anyone could probably figure this out at this point. I'm a very like all or nothing kind of person, and usually it's all like all gas, no brakes on this stuff. Like
Yep.
you can go, okay, like I'm gonna go out and run every single day now. Like that's not how it's working. It's like I'm running a couple days a week for a short distance and we're gonna like super slowly build on that and do a little cycling and stuff, just like, but that's because of him. It has nothing to do with me. But I need I need that
Right.
in my
But
life.
think
And
of
I'm
it this way: in a couple years, right? You're going to look back at this, and what a story you're going to be telling someone when you're doing your first 100 miler.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
like how I decided that for you?
I, I do my first 100, yes. When I go up to Notchview and do my first 100, yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
but it's also like I've also been setting these little goals that are very flexible. Like, you know, I put it out there. I'm like, well, maybe I could go to Connecticut and do some of EDE over Thanksgiving. Like, I don't know if that's realistic or not at this point. It could be. It could be completely. I just realized that like November is really not that far away at this point.
Yeah,
Um, so it could be completely, but it's like that's not something I have to buy a plane ticket for today. So I could put
right.
that out there as like a okay, like I'm going to work towards that, but if it doesn't work out, it's no big deal because it's no big deal. Like
And maybe we
maybe
change it and it's you got here, but you can't do end to end, so let's go walk the rail trail. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. There's so many different things. So I think it's important to like keep having like these goals of like, you know, things that I want to do. Like, yeah, okay, so we're going to push the Grand Canyon to next year or we're going to you know, try to go do this like fat ass or like just make another one of the best days I had of running was doing it was the Hockenham end to end, but also we added I don't know, we like started someplace different so that we could make it an ultra. So it was myself, Howie, and Sam Dibidall that did it that day. And it was like I forget how many miles. It was like 34 miles, I think. It was
Hmm.
so much fun. And like that wasn't a race, like it was just a Saturday in December or something, you know,
Those
like
are the best days
it was the
though.
best day. It was so fun.
That's
And
that's
like
the best part of this community. It's just the camaraderie.
And if I decide in December that like I just need to go run some distance, I know that if I reach out to some folks in Connecticut and say, I want to go for a run, there will be people that say, let's go for a run.
Yeah. Oh,
And there will
100%.
be no no second guesses on that. And I love that about the Connecticut community. I'm actually still low key a member of the Striders and the Trail Mixers. Like I send my dues in because like I'm just so thankful for everything they do for the community and
And once
like
your
I
family, your family.
yeah and like I don't know if I would be this involved in trail running and ultra and have this love for it if it wasn't for that community welcoming me
Yep.
so
Agreed.
fully at the time and I still staying in touch like that's a crazy thing like I probably only ran with them for a year or two and we still stay in touch which is so and I'm so and those people know who they are that stay in touch and it's like I'm so thankful for every one of you. You know, it's just it's been fun. And then I've met more people since because I actually didn't meet Will and Bessic until they came down here to do Cruel Jewel with Jimmy.
Hmm.
And I went out to go after they finished, I went out to visit with them all and stuff. Um, and it was just so awesome. Like how, you know, watching everybody's adventures. And that's actually kept me going too. Like all of you that have shared your tracking at Anchor Down and Notch View and oh gosh, I can't remember. There's been a couple other races. Like I've had so much fun following along, like watching other people do awesome stuff. And like, yes, I will be back out there doing awesome stuff. And even talking to Lauren a couple weeks ago, she's coming down to do Barkley Fall Classic in a couple weeks. I'm so excited for her. So to get to be able to
So
share even
excited for
some of
her.
my experience with her and my excitement about it, like it's so brutal. It's like the worst thing you could ever do to yourself, but it's like the best day all at the same time. I
I mean,
forget
that's
exact.
ultra running right there. The
Oh
worst
yeah.
and the
It's the
best.
worst and the best all at the same
Yes.
time. Although I might have provided some false advertisement because I was trying to explain a little bit of like how I had my map like tied to my vest and everything. And so I sent her a couple pictures. She's like, "Oh, you look so happy in all of these." I'm like, I was really happy, but it's brutal. I hope I didn't like make her think that it was like,
Yeah,
well,
but she's tough.
she's gritty. She's
She'll be
gritty. She's
fine.
gonna do so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I think she's gonna have an amazing day out there. So
So do you want
yeah.
I'm doing?
What?
I think tonight somebody sent me info about a virtual 100 miler, but it has to be done by the end of August. So guess what
So
I'm
when are you starting it?
well, so part of it it's called like the circadian or something like that, and you
Okay.
have to do at least 50 miles overnight.
Oh, so tonight.
So I'm gonna start at 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
So
Oh, so I
fuck
can
my
text you
life.
tonight.
Yes. So
Yeah,
when
but
you're
you're like
not
fuck my life, and
sleeping,
I'm like, yes, I can test.
I'm like
Let's.
fuck.
Oh
Yeah. So I think,
God.
and I'm getting my hair done Friday, so I have to do it like tonight so that I could sleep Thursday night. Like Because
I-
it's a
that
72
makes
hour.
sense. Yeah, no, that's logical to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, one of my last angiograms and banograms before this one, I had to have done in December, but I had Cloudland Canyon, the 50 miler, and I was like, well, we can't do it until that next week because I'm not missing Cloudland too. So I literally went from coming second place at Cloudland Canyon to operating room in like 24 hours, which was kind of ridiculous, but
I mean,
it was logical.
is it horrible that that made sense to me?
No,
I,
like I think that's why we're all friends because
I
that is
yeah,
absolute logic.
I had to have
100%.
surgery a few years ago, and I did notch view 100, and then it was the day after or 2 days after. It was like an 8 hour all day procedure, 8 months recovery. Luckily, I was able to
Oh,
run, but like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
that's a
had like to
lot.
have like my jaw reconstructed and all this shit. So like,
Oh,
yeah, I had like bone grafts and like
holy moly.
infection in my bone, and it was fun. Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah, it's great.
See, everybody has a story. And I think that, like, not, I mean, I hope there's like a happy ending to all of this. And there is happiness in the middle. I think Taylor Swift has a song about that, but I'm sure she does.
Do you know
But
I'm the
the,
only human on earth that doesn't listen to Taylor Swift?
really,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually, I wasn't really a Taylor fan until this all happened because well, this was like a year ago. So I keep joking, something bad has to happen so that Taylor Swift drops a new album because the last time I was out of work temporarily because of all of this nonsense was when she dropped the Tortured Poets Department and then she announced her new album a couple weeks ago while I was out of work. So I'm just
So
saying,
it's
but I hope nothing bad has to happen again.
so she does it just for you, is what I'm hearing.
I think yeah, yeah, it's really to brighten my life here. I think, the Dead, had that um 60th anniversary show, so I was able to watch that from my couch because I couldn't be there. So that was great. I appreciated that they did that just for me too.
That was nice of them.
Um, yeah, it was. I thought so. All these like celebrity musicians are just really looking out for me, which I do appreciate. But but anyway, so I listened to this Tortured Poets Department thing, and like the first time I listened to it, I'm like, I don't think that's for me. But I was like, I'm gonna listen. Everyone's talking about it. I'm gonna listen to it. And next, I listened to it like 10 times in one day, and like it just started to grow on me. I'm like, maybe I need to go listen to some of her older stuff. And there was one album she did that I did like from like a while back that I knew I liked because she did a collaboration with the National on there, and I did a deeper. I'm like, oh, like she's got some deep stuff on here. Like I like, but it was almost like, fine wine thing. Like you had to listen to this stuff for a while. And then I'm like kind of down this Swifty rabbit hole here.
I will still
Yeah,
love you
yeah.
even if you listen to her.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've gone down a Swifty rabbit hole. Yep. So I am very eclectic mixed from like, Billy Strings, Grateful Dead, like Southern rock and blues to Taylor Swift. So,
Okay.
there's,
Oh. If you
you
saw
know,
my running playlist, you'd be like, "What the fuck is happening on this?" Because it's all over the place. Because now I used to be like a club kid, so like I have like all the, you know, EDM and techno, but
okay.
then
Yep.
I was big into like hair bands and heavy metal, so I got that kind of shit going on, and
Okay.
yeah, so it's all over. The only thing I don't, and please forgive me, the only thing I don't listen to is country,
It's fair. That's
except
fair.
for Dolly Parton because she is a national treasure.
She got
And
married in the town that I live in. Did you know that?
oh, I saw her in concert.
No way.
Yeah, and Kenny
I
Rogers.
I would love to like just see her in person someday.
I
She
did.
actually
She was the
still comes through town.
fucking cutest little thing that has ever lived, and yeah. But
Vote for Dolly.
but I'm not. You know, no, I judge Danielle because she likes it, but I judge Danielle for everything.
That's
Uh,
fair.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like it's fair to judge.
yeah. That's what I'm here for.
I do a lot of judging.
Me too.
I do not leave the judging to Jesus. Just kidding. Not really.
I love it. All right, my dear, we are talking forever, but I think we're gonna wrap it up. Mainly because I want to keep them shorter.
Oh, you
Um,
probably shouldn't have invited me on then.
no, I love you, and you will be on again and again and again because you're one of my favorite people in this world, and I don't
I
like
love
people.
this.
So,
This is why
I
we're friends.
yes, I mean originally it had to do with Lenny, but you
Yeah,
know
he's got that about him.
he does.
He does. Mr. Lenny.
Dogs, I know. And my two little assholes are getting impatient because I'm locked in my closet. Uh, so, I love it.
Oh my
Any
god.
final words? That
No,
I
I'm
should
not
say that to you
right.
right now. God,
You're less
I'm
right.
fucking awful.
No, no, I thank you for letting me share a little bit about my summer and um, just a huge thanks to the running community and the Connecticut running community and stuff. I love everybody, and I am so thankful that this is something that I have to be sad to miss, and that I'm sad when it's
Yes.
not in my life. That this is something that means so much to me, has changed my life. So everybody that's played a part in that, everybody that's been on a podcast and shared things that they're going through, or good, bad, and different. Like I am so thankful for every single one of those people, even though they don't know me.
No, but it's true because, when we share parts of ourselves, we see it in each other, right?
Yeah.
So, like, your story, like, even if one person hears it and somehow uses it as inspiration, whether it's because of a medical emergency and they're learning from your story, or whether it's, just finding inspiration from a person you're buying a horse from. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if one person gets something from your story, you've made the world a better place. So, I'm grateful that you were willing to share it with everybody.
Or somebody goes and adopts a dog, do it.
Or adopt the
Peer
dogs.
pressure.
Adopt the dogs.
Adopt a dog.
All
Adopt
the
another
dogs.
one. If you have one, get one more. If you have two, what's three?
Apparently, now take how rude this is. According to my husband, there's no more room in our bed for dogs. And
Just get another bed.
me saying go find somewhere else to sleep so I could have more dogs was not the right thing to say, apparently.
Yeah. Perks of living by myself. There's nobody to put a cap on how many dogs can live in the house. Oh
Oh, I
God.
love it. All
So
right, my
good.
dear. So I will talk to you soon, but thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Love
All right.
you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.